Hey everybody, thanks for being here. This week we're in Northern California on beautiful Lake Tahoe, fishing for Mackinaw. Brought to you by Corning Ford, Pro-Cure, Clackacraft, Yakima Bait, P-Line, Max Lure, Fishfield, Brad's Fishing, TrollingFlies.com, Olish Charters, Fishhawk Electronics, and Fishing Product. Now, if you want to learn how to catch more fish, stay tuned. I'm Justin Wolf, and this is Angler West Television. It's gray light on Lake Tahoe, and we're on a mission for Mackinaw with guide Chris Ditter.
Here's an area where these fish like to school up, and they're here eating shrimp. That's the only reason why they're here. If the mice and shrimp, if they weren't here, the fish wouldn't be here. So that's why we're here. You already see some fish right here on the bottom. So let's go hang out with them and see what kind of mood they're in. So we're gonna start off with these two lures. It's still pretty dark. These here give a nice glow down there. It helps the fish see it. We're gonna tag it with the moon jelly. This has been the hottest dodger out here, and this is the second one. This color has been working really well. This one's been the top dog right here. So we're gonna put this one out a little later once the sun comes out. So these fish see it a little better. Put some tuna in there. We have tuna and krill from Pro-Cure. Then we have krill and Bloody Tuna.
So there's a glow plug called Holstein. Glow on both sides. So what we're gonna do now is just charge it up with some light. Put it down, be fishing pretty deep, and there's no sun on the water yet. We're about an hour before daybreak, so I'm gonna charge this sucker up, put her down, and let her light up. Now we're gonna fill this with some scent here. Open it up. Important to remove this if you're using tuna, because you want it to leach out both sides of the bait. This is a great concept if you're just using scent. If you're gonna use Pro-Cure and just put it on the scent pad, that works great, but when you're using tuna, take it out. So we just open the cavity, dip into our tuna. I think it might be kind of odd to fish tuna in a lake, but actually tuna fishes everywhere. Any lake, it fishes for kokanee, it fishes for every species I've ever fished for with these baits.
We just use 2 rods here. That's all you need. Yeah. There was a trip we did out. We caught 44 fish in 3 hours just with 2 rods. So. Nice thing about running 2 rods, I can make sharper turns, and it's kind of hilly down there. You don't tangle up your downrigger line. So
Little dodger you're using.
That's the guy. So let's send this bad boy out.
Nothing fancy on the way I hooked it up, making sure it's just a hook in the loop.
Yeah, right there,
okay.
Just like that. Right. Beautiful. And it's already been given some UV light.
You running braid?
We are. Yeah. So I have the fluorocarbon leader about 25 feet, and the rest is braid. So what we have here on this downrigger, we have 10 pounds of lead, and that's what's going to get us down to the bottom and keep us down there. So 10 pounds is about all you need to fish this lake. Hitting the bottom, and then I'm just going to count up 1 1,000, 2 1,000. That's going to put me right at 2 feet. I'm getting a lot more bites just 2 feet off the bottom. 4 or 5 years ago, it was like 5, 7 feet off the bottom, but the last few years, it's just been 2 feet off the bottom. I'm getting more bites, and you will get bit, running them more suspended because there's gonna be fish everywhere. But again, I'm getting the most bites just 2 feet off the bottom. Yeah, so these fish, the first 2 hours of the morning, these fish are pretty aggressive. They're out here feeding, and that's year round. So they're chasing shrimp. It's the only reason why they're here right now, and so we should get a bite here shortly. You'll see it start to taper off later in the morning. But right now, if they're not awake yet, they will be any minute. We'll start getting our bites. So the bite's really light. When we get a bite, the rod tip is just going to do this about the first 6 inches. The fish hits that lure, and he knows instantly it's not a minnow, and they'll start thrashing left to right, and that rod tip's just going to start wiggling on you, just like that. If it's the whole rod moving, then it's just a weight hitting the bottom, so you want to lift it up.
So do they typically spring it off? Are they strong enough to spring it off?
No, they're not. So what we'll do is we'll grab it out of the rod holder. So there, right there, just kind of graze the bottom. So I'll lift it up a little bit. So from that rod tip down to the clip, there's a huge bow in the line. So what I'll do is I'll grab it, my left hand's on the reel. I'll grab it out of the rod holder and I'll reel it down about 5-6 times just to pick up that slack really quick. When you see how I lowered the rod. Then from there, I'm gonna put my thumb on the spool to push down so no line comes out, pull it out of the clip. You see I have that nice parabolic bend on there? Then I'm gonna reel down again because from the clip to the fish, there's a little slack. So I'll reel down about 3 times here. There's the fish, okay, thumb the spool, pull back, set the hook. And you wanna be about right here. See, you know, you're keeping pressure on those hooks. That rod is working for you. It's keeping a nice parabolic bend. That's what you want to see. We get a lot of people that'll pull up way up here, and they'll drop that rod really quick. You see that slack that we threw out? Right. You're going to lose a lot of fish that way. Yeah, always keep it tight.
And you're not fishing barbless hook here, right?
Yeah, you don't need to fish barbless.
Okay. Taking line, but knows he's hooked.
Knows he's hooked. There we go.
Yeah. Nice to feel a little pump of the rod in the morning.
Drop that braided line.
Welcome back to Lake Tahoe. I'm Justin Wolf. We're trolling a variety of cut plug super baits for Mackinaw, otherwise known as lake trout, and we can welcome aboard the first fish of the morning.
There we go. That's a nice fish, you guys. Wow. You can see his air bladder, and his belly's full. That's his air bladder. So what you want to do is get these fish out of the net as fast as you can, because they do this alligator roll, and they really bury themselves in that net. And you can see they can do that with the hooks too. So I'll get him on the floor, kick him out of the net. There's that roll he's doing. Got the live well filling up right now. Nice cold water. There he goes. He's going to be on the dinner plate later.
Is this kind of a farm to table deal?
Yeah, these are really
water
good.
to table.
So these are going to be the best eating Mackinaw you'll ever eat coming out of Lake Tahoe.
Really?
Absolutely. They're eating shrimp. So that the meat is that bright red orange color.
Okay.
And I get a lot of people from all over the country. And I get a lot of reports back from the clients saying, "Hey, Chris, you're right. These Mackinaw are by far the best ones I've ever eaten."
Well, this is going to be a good trip for me because I've never caught a Mackinaw, nor have I ever eaten a Mackinaw.
Yeah, you're going to enjoy it. Absolutely. So this color we didn't get bid on. You know, I put that down there to give it that nice glow. So we're going to swap it out. You should get bit right away. If they're not biting, start switching out some colors. You know, again, sometimes it'll take them some time to wake up. You saw that rod over there. It took, what was it, Scott? 2 minutes, you said?
Within 2 minutes.
Within 2 minutes.
One we just got bit with is the dusky.
Yeah,
Orange, white, pink. Tough one to beat anywhere. Springers, fall fish. In fact, 2 out of 3 years, the biggest salmon we caught up in the Northwest were on this color, and oddly enough on the kokanee cut plug, which is even a smaller size than this, but they're both 30-pound king salmon. This is a killer color.
Bloody Tuna. Let's get that one out.
Then I just caught a little piece of spinner tube on the back, so just put a little orange tip on the back. You can just use a regular rubber band too. Don't think it matters much, but yeah, let's get this thing back out and fishing and get ourselves another fish here.
So this one we're going to switch up. This little blackjack, nice little minnow imitation, but we're going to switch it up on a bloody tuna combination on the tuna fish.
That tuna has, it's tuna in oil, and then it has krill, and it's got some bloody tuna as well.
So what I'm doing, just so this doesn't tangle on the way down, I'll go about 100, 150 feet, stop for about 5-10 seconds, let everything kind of catch up, and then go down. You really want some good swivels down there so that it doesn't tangle too as well, and that'll keep you from getting all your tackle tangled up. So there's the bottom. Raise it up a few feet, and there we are.
So now when you hit the bottom, it's a flat bottom? Is it any rock? Is it sand? Or
yeah, you
just
can
all
see right there.
flat?
Yeah, I won't fish 2 feet off the bottom. There's a bunch of rocks here. That's too scary.
Yeah,
you could rip your downrigger off. Over here, for the most part, Lake Tahoe out this deep, it's all going to be a hard bottom, nice and smooth. So here's our fish right here, and you can see the bigger fish. You know, the bigger lines here, and they're all mixed in together. So what I'm going to do for the fish that we're keeping, I'm going to deflate them. These fish we're going to eat later. I want to take that pressure off their stomachs so they stay alive longer in the live well. So I have this needle here, this injector needle. And what I'm going to do is just come in from the side and punch his air bladder. And you see that air bladder being released, and that's taking that pressure off that fish. So right now that fish is thanking me for that. He will feel a lot better without that being bloated like that. So here we go. He'll start to swim around. You see that? Like that. So the reason why the shrimp are here is that the current has taken them into this area. This lake actually has quite a bit of current. You know, you have 63 streams that are feeding in, and that's why they're here. If the shrimp weren't here, the fish just wouldn't be here. That's the only reason why they're here is they're feeding on that shrimp.
Yeah, I'm excited about this one. This is called Cody Candy. This was a new color last year, but this one actually got our biggest fish last year. Got quite a few, but got our biggest fish last year. So we'll just be trading these out as we bring them up and see what works. Let the fish tell us what they want. Give them different colors, a little different leader length, and just let the fish tell us what they want. It's supposed opposed to trying to dictate to them what they're going to take. So that's all I'm doing here. I'm tying up a bucket, different leader lengths, different colors. You use different scents, and that way, you know, if you're salmon fishing or whatever, you can tie some standard cut plugs, some mini cut plugs, some kokanee cut plugs, and yes, kokanee cut plugs do work for salmon and Mackinaw and all big fish, and different colors, different lengths, and let the fish tell you what it is that they want that day. It's the kind of like working with my wife. I just let her tell me what she wants.
So the reason why we have different leader lengths is it's going to give off different action depending on how short it is and how long it is. So the shorter it is, the more action you're going to get out of your lure. The longer it is, it'll be less action. So sometimes these fish maybe want a little slower. Some days they don't care, but it's good to have different lengths, because when they get pretty finicky, you know, sometimes they just don't want really erratic. So that's what's nice about having different leader lengths. You get more fish that way. Again, like Scott said, let the fish tell you what they want.
We're heading back to Lake Tahoe, but first here's your fish field tackle connection. Now today we're catching those Mackinaw with mostly Brad's mini cut plug super baits. Now fishfield.com's got a complete selection of all the super baits. You got your kokanee cut plug, the mini cut plug, the full size cut plug, and the full size original, also sometimes called the original skinny. Now you're going to be hard pressed to find any place that's got a better selection of all the super baits than fishfield.com. Whether you're looking for the 2-pack unrigged or the single-packed fully rigged versions. Go to fishfield.com, check them all out, and you're going to start catching more fish once you figure out how to use these incredibly effective baits. Now let's go back to Lake Tahoe and see if we can't catch some more Mackinaw. Lake Tahoe is a vast, deep body of alpine water that can be overwhelming to anglers unless they understand the behavior of the mysis shrimp, the primary forage of the Mackinaw. Success begins with location and greatly enhanced by scent.
So here we go. We have our bloody tuna, and you can see the color here. I put a little bit of krill and bloody tuna in this one. These fish love the bloody tuna with the krill mix. And this one here, I just have the krill mix by itself. You know, this is tuna and oil. So we got a really nice scent going here. There's mysis shrimp in this lake, and so that's why we're using the krill. The mysis shrimp, they were put in this lake, I think back in the 1960s. Don't hold me to that, but it was a while ago. And they put them in for kokanee. Didn't quite work out well for kokanee, but these Mackinaw absolutely love the mysis shrimp. I mean, they're like whales. They'll open up their mouths and just like a vacuum, they'll suck them in. So for Mackinaw, it's great. I mean, they absolutely love them. They're down on the bottom. So the mysis shrimp too, that's why we're also fishing down the bottom. They're light sensitive, so they're going to be down at the bottom. If that sun goes higher, the shrimp will go down deeper, and we'll start to follow them. We'll go down deeper with them. It's a good fish. Just take your time.
He woke up. There he is, right there.
All right, who's got a net for us? Yep. Oh, here he is. Yeah, that's a good one. Who's up? Well, you know, so why that got bit too, that Dodger really attracted that fish over. There was no fish on the screen, but all that action, that water displacement, brought that fish in from a distance, and that got bit.
What's the plug color on this one?
That's the Dusky.
It's Dusky?
Yeah, so it's the Dusky mini cut plug with the Moon Jelly Dodger.
All right.
Yeah, kokanee Dodger.
My first Mackie.
First Mackie ever?
First Mackie.
All right.
Nice.
Well, birthday boy yesterday, you got the big fish, and now post-birthday boy, first Mackie.
And on a beautiful lake. There we go. Now we're starting to have some. Is this where we start singing?
Nice fish.
That's a nice fish. Who's netting up?
I got you. You going right
So you don't pull back on them. You can lose them right here. I'm putting extra pressure on them. They're flopping when you start this. Nice and easy.
All right. First Mackie on Tahoe, on a Brad's. Awesome.
Moon Jelly just gives off that glow, the UV, everywhere you fish it. It doesn't matter. There's just something about the UV and the Moon Jelly. We've had other colors on here that have fished really well this past week. Deadly Damage is one. He's been killing it on it out here. But for today, whatever reason, maybe it's the pollen on the water and the sun can't get through. Whatever it is, it's just not happening with that color, at least as of right now. So when the sun gets up again, we'll keep trying that different stuff, but moon jelly is hot ticket.
We've got more fishing to do, but first, here's your Yakima Bait Minute.
I love the yellow rods because especially someone of a certain age like me, I can see them really easy and I can see the action of that. If I have a black piece of black graphite out there, I'm like, is it wiggling? I don't know, maybe.
You can see those plug rods bouncing up and bouncing down. That plug will run into a rock, catch it, wiggle, stop for a second, slide over the rock, catch itself, start to wiggle again. That's how you know it's really fishing, right? The maglip is a different animal. It's not just gonna go thump, 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 thump. It's actually, you know, built with a skip beat action. And so it will look like your rod is doing erratic things, which is what you want. That's what causes those fish to bite. When Buzz designed them, he designed the action into every one of them for a reason. He knows what catches fish, and these maglip are fishing.
We're on Lake Tahoe, where Scott Kaul and Doug Bellmore from Brad's, along with Steve Sidhu, are finding good success with guide Chris Ditter.
So this lake is the second deepest lake United States. The first deepest lake is Crater Lake in Oregon. That lake is 1960. This lake is 1645, and both lakes are an alpine lake. So you can see that nice blue color. So yeah, we're considering how deep this lake is. We're fishing pretty shallow. You know, 120, 240 feet. You can move around and find your schools of fish. South Shore, those guys will fish 50 to 120. You know, you'll catch them in shallow too when you're running for rainbows. I caught them in 15 feet. I've caught them in 25. They're everywhere. All right, so we had 60 degrees on the surface. 5 feet down is the same, and 10 feet down went to 59.8. 59.6, 15 feet. 59.4, it's not much change. 20 feet down, 58.7, 25. Let's go down a little further. 40 feet is 65.6. And at 55, it's 64.3. That's pretty cold, 64. 75 feet, it's 62, or 52, I'm sorry, 0.5. That's a huge temperature drop right there. So at 95 feet, we're at 47.9. Let's go down a lot more here, guys. Let's see what we've got. 120 feet, 45.4. And 140, we're at 44.5. And let's see here. 180, we're at 43.6. 200 feet, we're at 43.2. And let's see, I think I went even a little deeper there. So at 230 is 42.5. And not much change from that point, from that 230 to 270, 42.2. And 42 degrees at 290. It's pretty cold. Yeah, this is pretty awesome to know what temperature is down there. I've always been curious. And now I know. The other rod tip kind of did that too. Lost that bed. But we got them on. You want to make sure when you pull back, you know, you reel from that position. Don't let it kind of, those bigger fish, that's a moment they can spin them out on you. That's a good fish though. That's a good here. That's a fast fish. All right, so the area that we're fishing, the fish have moved out. So we're gonna pick up, move to a different area, and then see what the fish are over in the northeast side of the lake. And if they're not biting, then we'll keep moving around. But they should be. You know, there's areas in the lake that these fish will pull into at certain times of the day, and they'll stage there and they'll hang out for the rest of the day. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go move around and find some more fish. So we made a move, you guys, and we're seeing a bunch of fish on the screen. So we're gonna drop down and see what kind of mood these fish are in.
Yeah, 4 bites and 3 fish in a row on the MJM. She's going off today. You called it, buddy. You said that's been one of your most consistent.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Later in the morning, it's been going off. Sun's starting to get bright out here, so maybe it just wasn't an early morning thing, but sun's out. Let's run her back out.
Fish on. Yep. Rip right there. Watch that downrigger line. Moon jelly strikes again. I don't know how many bites we've had on that one today.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is we tried that MGM this morning and it didn't go off, but instead of putting it away and saying, well, this one's just not working today, you took it out later in the afternoon, and here we've gotten 3 fish in a row on it, bang, bang, bang. It's not afternoon, it's 9:45. The point is, later in the day, go ahead and try it. If it didn't work first thing, that doesn't mean it's not going to work all day. It could work later that morning or later that afternoon. There we go. All right.
Hey, this is my brother Scott from a different mother, obviously.
Brother from another mother.
Great day on Tahoe.
You're killing them. You're killing them. These are really working well. Electric sombrero on that. And then we did something a little different. You'll see here, we added just a little bling on that wedding ring. So just a little extra bling down there. Don't be afraid to mix it up. We have bigger beads on this.
Yeah, what size
we
beads
had smaller
on this?
beads on the other. These are 8 mil.
Okay.
We've been catching them around 5 mil, different colors. And again, we're just letting the fish tell us what they want. Yeah, so we got quite a few today that we're gonna keep, but now we're just doing catch and release. So instead of doing the double hook setup, the tandem hook setup like you saw before, doing a little different rig. And actually this is a very fishy rig. Take a small bead chain. This is a mini cut plug, so we're just doing a 4 bead chain, and then yeah, just doing BMC hook up behind that. Side wash, it's about a 2/0 and a lot easier to release. And the nice thing about this is that as that fish spins the whole time, it's going to be just spinning the bead chain. So get them in the corner of the mouth, and we're hoping to just catch and release from here on out.
Hey, I hope you found today's episode valuable and it helps you catch more fish. And be sure to watch this episode again and hundreds of other episodes and helpful videos on the Angler West TV YouTube channel, and follow us on Facebook and Instagram. And remember, without our sponsors, there is no show, so please thank them when you can. Now get out there and do some great fishing.